must have a sheet back there.
There are no sheets back there, Ann?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody signed up? Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be more popping in here in about 4 o'clock.
Okay. Mr. Armbruster, you're not hijacking this meeting.
Yeah, he's talking to somebody, that's all. He's still in Hocking Hills. You go to a meeting and now you
Excuse
come
me.
back.
Today is Tuesday, the 26th of August, and it's the regular 3:30 meeting of Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Let's begin with the pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One of these days I'm going to leave that the right way.
Commissioner Riddell.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
We have a quorum. We have 2 presentations, one at 3:45 for 6119 sewer and 4 PM Ohio Public Defender's Office. So under resolutions, number 1, investments,
Move to approve. Second.
discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 2, appropriations,
Move to approve. Second.
discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 3, transfers,
Move to approve. Second.
discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 4, advances and repayments,
Move to approve. Second.
discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 5, requisitions,
Okay, you see page 1. Victor, may we have page 2?
Go back to page 1. Item number 1513, those are our dues to be a part of NOACA. You take a look at what's going on on Route 2 and 90, those 3 lanes, that's some of the benefits of being members of NOACA, so. It's not cheap, but it's worth it.
Move to approve?
Second.
discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 6, travel,
Move to approve.
Second.
discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 7, bills,
Okay, page 1 is the general fund. Let's have page 2. Finishes the general fund and starts with the special revenue funds. And we have page 3. And can we have page 4? Motion to approve pages 1 through 4.
I'll second.
discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye. I don't think we have a personnel or a
No,
exec, so.
we do not have executive
We'll
session.
save her from reading it.
Thank you. Public comment on agenda items.
Well, I guess the presentation would be, we have 2 people that would like to speak to the public defender issue. Do we want to speak before they make their presentation or after? We want to go first?
No, ask them. They're the ones that requested it.
So we'll take the presentation first?
Okay.
Okay.
So nothing right now.
Wait a minute. What did Mike want? He doesn't say. Does he want to wait at the end?
Yes,
He was
Okay.
just public comment
Public
on
comment.
that thing.
right.
In this form, Dave.
Okay.
Okay. So did you want the sewer to go first?
Well,
No,
3:45.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
got 6 minutes, so we can,
Are we prepared to start a little early for this presentation? Then let's do so. Thank you.
let's
Gotta
hope it.
get through the whole business
Yeah, we can get through the whole
first.
business first, but that's okay. He's the president. He gets to-
We usually do the presentation first.
I know, but she put everything late.
Oh,
Are we good?
good.
Well, good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here. My name's Lou McMahon. I'm working with a group of folks who for 2 years have been doing very detailed analysis, trying to realize the vision that the Commissioners have put forward of regionalizing some of our sewer assets and optimizing what we have in this county to support economic development. And I'm very pleased to be here because this starts the very public portion of our efforts where we introduce a resolution, you introduce a resolution to make Lorain County a petitioner to create the new district. So the presentation I have is an overview of what the public can see. There's, as I said, a very public process that's going to continue with lots of opportunity for comment. We want public comment. There ultimately is a public hearing and then ultimately action in front of the court. So though we've been working on this for quite a while, we know it's new to a lot of people, and we want to be as transparent and open as we can be so people can see why this is necessary and beneficial to the people affected here in Lorain County. So just, I'll do my best to be done in 15 minutes, even though I've got 20 slides.
Okay. For a question, is the microphone, are we picking it up? Okay,
Okay, very good.
very good.
I'll stand closer. So this is the overview of what we'll talk about today. What is a regional sewer district under Ohio Revised Code 6119? What we're gonna call Clearwater, what will it look like? Why is it necessary, and what benefits it provides? And then what are the public processes going forward? And that, in fact, that it's financially viable. So what is a Revised Code 6119 regional sewer district? I often say it's a specific purpose government, kind of like a school board for sewers in this case, if you will. That its function is to be devoted to just, in our case, sewer and treatment on a regional basis for wastewater. A 6119 can either be a water district, it can be a sewer district, it can be both. This one is only going to be treating wastewater on a regional basis at the Avon, what's now the Avon Lake Treatment Plant, and only do regional conveyance. It's gonna be a wholesale entity. It will not be in the retail or local sewer business. It won't connect, it's not the sewers that connect the houses, it's the sewers that are collected and then sent to the plant for treatment. The statutory process that you have to go through is exacting because you're creating a new government with a specific purpose. So we have spent the 2 years getting ready to prove to ourselves and to all the petitioners and then to the public and ultimately the court that this is necessary and it's financially viable to achieve the purposes for which it's set up. So we have to create a petition that will go to the court and a plan of operation to support that. We've created those. Those drafts will be available for public review and public comment, if not today, this week. They'll be out there, and they'll stay out there until we file with court. As petitioners, the petitioners have to hold a public hearing with 2 weeks' notice and receive comment. Once we receive comment, we can file the petition if we have to update it or change it or anything. And then ultimately, the court has a hearing to establish the district. That's the process we go through to create one. What we're proposing is to create the Central Lake Erie Regional Water Reclamation District, or Clearwater, easy to say, to be created by you, the Board of County Commissioners, Avon Lake, as well as Lorco. And those are the three partners that have come together to put this entity together and, again, solve a lot of issues and optimize their sewer infrastructure. This is a long time efforts. Efforts really go back to 2009 here in Lorain County, where people came together and looked at optimizing their sewer and their wastewater infrastructure through regionalization efforts all the way through 2012, a study that was funded with some federal assistance that looked at the economic benefits of doing so. And those were some good ideas. It was kind of a good start. It stalled at that point. Almost exactly 2 years ago, on August 30th, 2023, there was a meeting at Lorain County Community College that invited all the sewer providers from across the county to come and see if we could restart that effort, to consider scenarios that could go from a good idea to an actually specific entity that could be approved and function. These pictures are from that meeting. Like, all the sewer providers were provided. I think there were 60 people there. The picture in the center is a gentleman from Ohio EPA who does the financial work for Ohio EPA. Ohio EPA was very much a supporter then and remains a supporter of regionalization because they know there are benefits from economies of scale, resiliency from having a regional sewer district. Just want to be very clear, commissioners have had a consistent vision of going forward with trying to get infrastructure in place where it could support economic development, particularly in the areas where the local entities are willing to do so. There have been a lot of scenarios going on, but you've got some great triumphs here, some good steps forward. The state of Ohio with the All Ohio Future Fund recognized that the future for Ohio is in Lorain County and awarded $67.4 million for the work on the west side. That's an outstanding development for the county. Separate from that, though, is this establishing of Clearwater on the east side. Because Clearwater doesn't exist, it wasn't in position to play a role with the west side efforts. So these are parallel to realize your vision, but they're legally separate. They're going to go in parallel tracks. What will Clearwater look like? So the proposal is to have a 3-member board of trustees who will be responsible for this government. The initial members will be the county administrator, the executive director of Lorco, and the chief of utilities at Avon Lake in 2-, 3-, and 4-year terms. They'll be staggered. At the end of those initial terms, each of those entities will appoint a trustee for a 4-year term. So it'll be rolling different terms they have there. Clearwater will have a chief executive officer to help operate and basically to send out the bills to the 3 wholesale customers who will in fact be Avon Lake, Lorco, and Lorain County. The territory, you have to describe a territory in order to establish one of these. The territory is going to be of the members. It's going to include Avon Lake and its municipal boundaries, and it's going to include the area that is designated as the Lorco, the Avon Lake Lorco Phase 1 facilities planning area. This is the area that Lorco already serves. Lorain County has a small package plant at Eaton Estates that's part of this equation that's within the same footprint of the Lorco area. So this is going to be the territory. When we look at the financial viability, we looked at all the people who send and parcels that send flow to the Avon Lake plant, and that includes all the areas in green there. These are all customers or people that can be served by the Avon Lake plant today and who basically pay rates for sewer treatment there. Clearwater will lease the Avon Lake plant and then contract with Avon Lake to operate that plant. So it'll be seamless, kind of a turnkey operation. There'll be nobody at Avon Lake will lose a job because of the establishment of Clearwater, but Clearwater will take over that. It'll also take on the debt associated with that plant, as well as Clearwater will purchase the assets that Lorco has for its transmission lines and its pump station and take on that debt. So after all this process and 2 years of looking at many different scenarios and good ideas, we've come to something that's very clearly defined in Clearwater. So Clearwater will treat regional wastewater flow that goes to the facility at Avon Lake. It'll be responsible for that regional conveyance to get that flow there. It's going to maintain uniform treatment rates within that district. So that's one of the keys is low-cost treatment rates. You'll also be in the empowered to do regional master planning for infrastructure, and then also eventually to construct perhaps and expand regional assets to serve other parts of the county. Importantly, what Clearwater will not do. Clearwater will not be involved with drinking water. Clearwater will not be in the retail business of sewer collection. Everybody who gets a bill today will continue to get a bill from that service provider. Just the treatment costs will be done by Clearwater. Clearwater will not be responsible for any stormwater management. Now, those things, those water and stormwater are within the 6119, but for Clearwater ever to do anything with respect to those, it would have to go back to the court to get specific approval to do those, to operate in those areas. Clearwater is necessary and beneficial. These are things we have to show the court. Why is it necessary? Well, it'll provide the centralized treatment for water reclamation and reduce a package plant that Lorain County has right now that's underperforming and facing a lot of expensive upgrades that can't be done for a small package plant. So it'll optimize the use of existing infrastructure. It'll provide low-cost, uniform treatment rates for everybody within a district. This will be one district right here. And be greater efficiency in managing both regulatory compliance and sewer-associated debt. The benefits flow from that necessity. The benefits, lowest cost that wastewater treatment that it can achieve, and maintaining that, optimizing and getting rid of redundant assets. It's going to improve water quality because the Avon Lake plant operates so efficiently. It'll take offline a package plant that is not as efficient and discharges to a creek. It'll also put the entity in position to handle stricter environmental regulations that are coming. We know that nutrients and PFAS and other things are coming, and the only way to cost effectively deal with those is to leverage the economies of scale at centralized plants. We've also spent a lot of time determining at the district if it's financially viable. We had to prove that to ourselves and to everybody, ultimately to the court. And so Raftellus, who's a nationally recognized rate and utility firm, has done a study, did a model. We took the budgets that Avon Lake has had in their process, put them into the model to see if Clearwater on its own could stand up on that, and Clearwater will be financially viable. We made conservative assumptions to protect everybody. We didn't account for pending growth that we know it's out there. We only accounted for average years of flow, which comes back into revenue. So we made those assessments, and Clearwater will not raise rates for any users on the treatment side of things other than what Avon Lake was projecting to raise rates over those years. So Clearwater will be financially viable. It becomes very public soon, and we encourage as much public participation as possible. So here's the process that I mentioned again. You gotta create the petition and plan of operation. We have those. You have to act to declare yourself a petitioner by resolution, and we look for Avon Lake to do the same thing. Those two entities together have to have at least one public meeting with 2 weeks' notice. And then you have to ultimately file the signed petition with the court. And it leads to the court process, which has a final hearing. Public participation is the key. We really want to have a lot of feedback here. The documents are going to be posted on, even though Clearwater doesn't exist, we have a domain name for it and emails so we can receive comments. There will be, all the documents that are going to be out there will be the draft petition, everything that's going to be in court, the draft petition, the plan of operation, financial feasibility study, all available to the public. There's also going to be a background document, and as well as responses to what we expect will be frequently asked questions. Try to get out ahead of those, and we will update that as if people have questions that they turn in to us. In summary, Clearwater is necessary and beneficial to realize the vision that you've had of having infrastructure in place to support the county and the region. It will optimize existing infrastructure and be efficient going forward in the future. It will, in the very near term, improve water quality. It's going to maintain the lower cost treatments, and that by itself supports economic development. And again, this effort's consistent with the West Side efforts, but it's legally separate. That's the end of my presentation. Glad to take any questions.
Commissioners?
What's next?
What's next is you will have the resolution introduced, I believe, don't know if they're doing that right now, they've
This
done it already?
Says
Oh,
here.
on Friday, okay, so then
Scheduled
Friday, again, on Friday, at the Friday meeting, I believe, you'll be considering, whether to adopt that. That formally just makes you a petitioner.
Right.
And then the public process will continue. Your partners will continue to do the same thing. Sometime in probably, mid-October, we'll have that public meeting. We'll take those comments. Sometime after we review those comments, hopefully in early November, we will probably file with the court. And then we'll be on the court's calendar after that.
So did I understand you correctly? We need to schedule a hearing ourselves?
It doesn't have to, it can be a joint hearing. In fact, it should be a joint hearing between you and the other petitioner, which will be Avon Lake. And we've talked about having it at the community college. You know, if there's interest in other hearings or sessions and information sessions, we're glad to do those as well.
Oh, I see him grabbing the mic, so. Have you talked to Avon Lake and what their time?
Avon Lake, we made a presentation last night, of which our partners were there, including Karen. And they have to act too, just like the county commissioners. And we have not made a time with the college at this point, because we have to have both of the entities joining in on this process in order to have the next public meeting when you have it at the college. So we don't have a date set up with the
No,
Lorain Community
Is there a
College.
date with Avon Lake, though?
There is not at this point.
What?
We expect it to be introduced at Avon Lake on Tuesday during sessions of council on Tuesday, and they have a process with their 3 readings.
They have to do, is it, so it's 3 weeks, or do they meet every 2, or?
We're still figuring out, they're still figuring out that schedule. That schedule's
Oh.
on their timeline.
Okay.
But it would be appropriate now, we're ready for us to deal with a resolution on Friday.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Is there a time frame between the resolution? Is there a window that we have to complete this by?
There is not. You just have to
Okay.
give 2 weeks' notice. So once you
Okay.
declare yourself a petitioner and your partner petitioner, once you're in place, then we can set a time and just give 2 weeks' notice. That's all
Now,
that's happened.
would the public hearing be a more appropriate place for the public to attend to find out any more information
Absolutely.
in regards to the
Encourage as many-
future? Because I know there's people here, thought maybe there'd be some of that here, so.
Yeah, I mean, we have this, and there'll be information on the website. Again, we'll do whatever information sessions people want. It's tended to be as transparent and engaging as possible.
As you discuss that, remember that the Stocker Center is going to be shut down for major renovations, so we may need to provide ourselves as an alternative site for that meeting, for that hearing.
Well, certainly, if the college does not have the Stocker Center open, we will make alternative, and we'll allow for, I don't know how many the Stocker Center sits, but we'll have a large enough place in order to do so. And not sure exactly where that would be at this point.
Okay,
We want to make sure we have the electronic or the ability for PowerPoint, correct? Yeah,
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely. And we'll have handouts and other information.
okay.
It's basically consolidating services, correct?
I mean, that's it, yes. And an entity that is devoted solely to that, correct.
And then the 6119 is totally separate from that, or I'm sorry, the $67 million grant is a separate
It is.
project.
It is. I mean, obviously Clearwater didn't exist, so it couldn't be partake in receiving that. Basically, you got ahead of the future and got a major win for Lorain County on that.
Yeah, we try to do that.
Potentially more people to join the 6119, or more sewage districts.
And that'll be up to any expansion. The statute allows the 6119 to either expand by adding communities or just by contract to serve them. And that ultimately would be up to that new board. Does it make sense? Are there efficiencies there to do that? So it's a good model. Like I said, we went through a lot of different scenarios. This is the one that crystallized into something that was defensible and financially viable. And all those decisions on whether it's beneficial and financially viable will be made going forward.
Great.
But just the board, what we're looking to form here or discuss is just the first board to create, correct?
Yeah, what is listed there is just the first board. Thereafter, the commissioners, say after 2 years, the commissioners can appoint or reappoint whoever they want for a 4-year term. But what we set up is to have the people who understood it the best to be there at the beginning.
Correct.
Thanks for all your hard work.
All right,
Thank you. And congratulations to the staff. If my math is correct, this was almost a 16-year-old can that's been kicked down the road, and we're finally, please keep the momentum up.
We will.
67 million is a good kick.
Okay. Thank you. Our next presentation is,
That's what. Yeah. Well, I'll take it from here. How about that? I'm the one that kind of initiated this. The Ohio Public Defender's Office is here, and Laura Austin, who is the Assistant Director of Columbus Office, and Elizabeth Miller, who is a State Public Defender, came in today to do a quick presentation. We had I guess I talked to him beforehand. I guess they apologize. I guess there was a communication issue between us. The previous individual that works there said that they couldn't help us over the phone, but she said they'll be happy to answer any questions individually. And the way it was presented to me, I thought we had to do it in a group. But the worst case scenario is we get to all hear the same thing at the same time, and so does the public. So this is not prepared. We have no idea what you're going to say. So it'll be interesting to hear your presentation. So thank you for coming up.
So, thank you. Again, I'm Elizabeth Miller. I am the State Public Defender for the Ohio Public Defender's Office. I first just wanted to thank you for the invitation to join you. I did secondly want to publicly apologize for the miscommunication that occurred by somebody in our office. I did watch the previous meeting, and I want to reassure all of you and the folks in this room that we're committed to being a good partner, not just to counties, but to folks who are doing the work in the criminal legal system to ensure that there's constitutionally sound representation being provided. And so with that, we wanted to ensure that we provided an overview of Ohio's system, what the statutory provisions are, what options you have, as well as some specific data. And Laura Austin's prepared to provide that presentation for you today. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Good afternoon. So for our presentation, if everybody can see it, we understood the call to question was Lorain County wanted to discuss whether or not to have a public defender office or how to provide indigent defense and what that might look like. And so I thought I'd give a brief overview of what's available under Revised Code 120 for providing indigent defense in each of Ohio's 88 counties. And then talk a little bit about the data that is available from our office, certainly a public record available to the commissioners or to the public at large. And so here is just a brief overview, a map of all the different ways that indigent defense is delivered in the state of Ohio. We'll talk about each in turn. And so here on this next page, I'll start with who decides which methods of indigent defense to use. In Ohio, each county commission has the authority to choose the methods by which indigent defense representation is provided in their county. And so there are 5 methods that are available under the revised code to each of Ohio's 88 counties. I'll pan back just briefly to note the counties listed in green are a new method of indigent defense. It's entitled the Northwest Regional Hub. This was codified under the most recent state budget, so what just passed for July. I apologize, I'm going to put my teams on Do Not Disturb there. And so that's different, and we could talk a little bit about that. Elizabeth can talk to you about that, but that's available only for Putnam, Allen, and Hardin County. And so here we have a county public defender office. And so that is what the name suggests, which is the county the county commission elects to form a county public defender commission, and they have a county government agency or office. There's also court-appointed counsel, which of course Lorain County is familiar with. That is the only method of indigent defense that's provided here. And is actually available in all 88 counties, even for those that have elected to have a public defender office or a nonprofit or to contract with our office at the state public defender. There is still appointed counsel available in each of the 88 counties. So then there's also a contract with a nonprofit corporation, and we have 9 counties in the state of Ohio that elect to do that. And I certainly am happy to discuss what the specifics of that are for. Basically, the county posts an opportunity or request for proposals for any nonprofit organization that may wish to serve as indigent defense counsel. And of those 9 counties, you have a couple that look like a more traditional public defender office. They're not a county entity, but they are a nonprofit. Those counties are Lucas County and Summit County. They have an office with employees, and it looks and feels very much like a traditional county public defender office, albeit a nonprofit. And then there are the remainder that have more independent contractor type setup. And so then one of the final options is to contract with the Ohio Public Defender. While that is available under the code, the reality of it is that our office is at capacity. We currently contract with, or 10 counties contract with our office. We do not have the present capacity to contract with further counties to provide indigent defense in those jurisdictions. But certainly it's an option available under the code and one that could be discussed potentially in the future. And then there is the joint county public defender. There are no counties that presently enter into this type of indigent defense representation, but as the name suggests, multiple counties come together to say, hey, we'd like to open a public defender office and we'd like to share that responsibility, if you will, and then they would provide a public defender office across multiple counties. And this in the slides is just an overview of how reimbursement works. That's usually of interest or note to both commissioners and stakeholders in the county. And it just gives a brief overview. And effectively, court-appointed counsel, they submit a bill. The attorney submits a bill to the judge or the court approves, reviews the bill, approves it, and then sends it off to the auditor to pay. And then those paper bills, right now we're in a paper form, get shipped off to our office. We receive about 140,000 bills per year. And we process those. We do have, and I have a note at the end of my presentation here, an online system that we're rolling out. We're presently in about 66 courts, and it's an all online system. Money doesn't flow through it, but the processing of the bills flows through it, and that's certainly something that's available to Lorain County as it is to all counties. For the county public defender office or a contract with a nonprofit, those folks fill out a monthly summary report for those PD operations. It's just a 2-sided form. I have a picture of it later in the presentation. And so it's a much more abbreviated process to go through for reimbursement. And then for the contract with the public defender, our office, the state public defender, it functions much the same way in which we invoice the county. Here's a little bit more of an overview of how a county public defender commission could be formed if Lorain County is so inclined. Revised Code 120.13 directs that the County Public Defender Commission shall be a 5-member board. 3 of those members are appointed by the county commissioners. 2 members are appointed by the presiding judge of the Common Pleas Court. And at least 1 member from each appointing authority has to be an attorney admitted to practice law in Ohio. That body, the Public Defender Commission, must meet quarterly, and the county commissioners may terminate the County Public Defender Commission at any time with a 90-day notice to the state public defender to say, hey, we're going to terminate this form of representation. Revised Code 120.14, and these are just highlights. Certainly the code is much more detailed of what are the authority or powers of the County Public Defender Commission. It talks about their job is to either appoint a county public defender, or they may enter into a contract with a nonprofit, or again, the state public defender office if that were to be available. They are to determine the qualifications and size of the support staff and the facilities and other requirements that are needed to maintain a public defender office. And they are to recommend to the county commissioners an annual operating budget, which is subject to the review and approval by the Board of County Commissioners. And so there's obviously collaboration, as I suspect there is, amongst all county offices. This is just a quick overview of what it looks like for a public defender or a nonprofit office to submit for reimbursement. Just a monthly operating expense and caseload report where they report out on how many cases they opened and what expenses they had. If a county were to form a county public defender office, it's not just the salaries or the retirement benefits or the desks or the chairs, the space that's rented, the copiers, all of the operating expenses that are related to a public defender office are subject to reimbursement. The reimbursement rate is the same across the state, the exception being that Northwest Regional Hub, that new thing with the 3 counties. And the prevailing rate right now is 82%. So whether a county has appointed counsel, a public defender, or a nonprofit, the reimbursement rate is the same. And here's just an example of the caseload report. Of course, as we know, the indigent defense is funded by the state legislature appropriating authority to the state public defender for an amount of funds, and then counties submit those reimbursement requests, and we pay based upon how much money is available and how much the bills are from the counties. The reimbursement rate is entirely and solely determined based upon how much money was appropriated and how much are counties requesting in terms of reimbursement. If those requests are lower than anticipated, the rate goes up, and if those requests are higher than anticipated, the rate goes down. And so that's where we find ourselves at 82%. That's our best projection for this current fiscal year. And here's a snapshot of what the reimbursement rate has been historically. If you've worked in the indigent defense system or been a part of county government that has intersected with indigent defense, we're all familiar that the reimbursement rate has historically been low. Under the DeWine administration and the General Assembly, it changed dramatically beginning several years ago, back in FY19, FY20. They actually had to change the law to allow for reimbursement to exceed 50%, because at the time the reimbursement rate was capped at 50%. And certainly we're at a very high level of reimbursement, with the present one being 82%, which is the fourth highest rate the state has ever seen since the beginning of reimbursement and the indigent defense system in 1976. And not to belabor this point, but just to highlight for appointed counsel, of course, the county commission sets the rates and caps for that work, and Revised Code 120.33 directs that the county commissions should solicit or work collaboratively with the local bar associations on setting that rate. I'm getting towards the end of my basic overview of what a public defender office and what indigent defense can look like. I'll note that on our website we have what's called a 120.041 report, and it's named for the revised code section that requires us to publish that report. It's an annual report that we put out by October 1st. So the most recent one was for FY24. Our fiscal year, of course, at the state runs July through June. And what's included in that report were the county's submissions from May through April. So whatever you submitted May through April, we then paid in July through June. And that's what you see in our annual report, in case you have any questions on that. And it's available, it's a program called Tableau, and it allows for a lot of drill down and sorting and organizing of data. I'll note here this court-appointed billing system. Certainly happy to have a conversation with all local parties, from court-appointed counsel to the judiciary to auditors. Like I said, we're in the process of rolling this out, but it helps expedite, if you will, the processing of appointed counsel bills. And happy to entertain questions, and I'll also give an example here if I can exit and move to. So this is Tableau, and this is, so we'll see if it. I wonder if.
What are you trying to do? From
Well,
your
I can
laptop
still.
to
I'm
that?
just trying to project my screen, and I'm wondering if Victor might. So I'll talk a little bit about the data we have on the 120.041 report on our website. Has a variety of information in it, but if you say, hey, we'd like other data points, do you have that available, and what can you provide us? I was going to give you an example of what that looks like. Thank you so much.
There you go.
So there we go. So this is just an example of what our extraordinary staff put together. This is taken solely from that data that's in the 120.041 report. We've just organized it differently, if you will. And so I tuned in on the YouTube page, if you will, for the commissioners to listen to a previous meeting in which I believe I heard Commissioner Moore reference maybe Montgomery County or other counties that have a public defender office and what their caseloads or expenses look like. If a county were to consider forming a public defender office, I imagine they might want to know, what does that look like? How many cases would they take on? What would the expense be? And how would that operate? First and foremost, the Public Defender Office would recommend, and I believe the commissioners would be supportive of this, of a thorough and engaging conversation with the local bar and with the judiciary to see what the needs are of the indigent defense system. Additionally, consulting some data so that you could readily examine the data from other counties. And then also we'd be happy to provide you just some background information on counties that have more recent than not moved to having a public defender office. For example, Delaware County is the most recent county to form a county public defender office. Allen County is close in time behind them. Medina County is an example of, I believe, the only county in the last 10 years to move away from having a public defender office. And they went from having a PD office to only having appointed counsel. So all of those types of background information, we'd be happy to provide you so that you may or others in the county may consult with those. But on this data page, we have on the 120.041 report, we list public defender caseloads. And then we also list appointed counsel fee bills. What we've done in this report, which is different, is that we've combined those so that you can kind of see what are the combined caseloads in counties. And then you could even compare what is Lorain County's level of cases, and then what are counties that are close to us in terms of caseloads. So by overview, I've said our recommendation is if you want to consider a public defender office, that we would consult with the local bar, the judiciary, that we would consider data. We'd also recommend you consider the structure of Lorain County's system. So how many courts do you have? How far away are they from each other? How many judges are in each? What do those dockets look like? And finally, the county would need to consider what level of indigent defense funding do you want to assign to a public defender office? And so if you create a public defender office, there's nothing that says you have to have it cover all courts and all types of cases. It could be that Lorain County wishes to just maybe take a step towards this and see how this endeavor works for the county, and to hire or to start a public defender commission, have them appoint a public defender, and then hire a limited staff. Start with a more abbreviated budget and see how it would work best to Lorain County. Conversely, you could say we want to go full steam ahead and we want to hire a full suite of folks and services. And so all of the options are on the table, and we have a whole lot of data that we'd be happy to provide. And so that's hopefully a very abbreviated and but helpful presentation on what you've got available to you. I'm happy to answer any questions and or to take a seat if there are members of the public who wish to address you.
Anything else?
Yeah, a few, but there's other people on speak, so I'll let everyone speak first. You have a question now?
You want to wait till the others?
I'll
speak?
wait till the others, it's fine.
Okay. Yes, normally we have public comment, and we normally do that before we do the item, but it appeared to me to be the cleanest way would be to have the presentation and then invite those, instead of coming a little bit later, that we would shift the public comment on item A, on this item around, so that we can hear both sides relatively closely together. And remind everybody that this is what transparency looks like. You know, I commend Commissioner Moore for starting this conversation, and we will continue to have it until we collect enough information to make the best decision for the county. So with that in mind, we have several people that have asked to speak on this item, and we'll start with Brandon Oliver.
She's got to close on it.
Please state your name and address, and we try to keep it close to 2 minutes, please.
Absolutely. I'm Brandon Oliver. I'm here before the commissioners today, president of the Lorain County Bar Association. I am also a resident of Lorain County. I reside at 346 University Avenue in Elyria, Ohio. I'd like to thank Ms. Austin and Ms. Miller for coming up here and providing some more information to the county. Certainly the Lorain County Bar Association proudly celebrating 105 years in existence in Lorain County this year. Our current membership rolls include more than 275 attorneys practicing in Lorain County. That would include individuals from county and municipal prosecutors' offices, criminal defense attorneys, public and private attorneys in any walks, and also judges and appellate judges that make up our membership in its entirety. We're a little bit taken aback when first heard about the concept of revisiting public defender's office in meetings. Meeting minutes, and like all good news in the county, right? Something happens, then it spreads through hallways, and then you go look for it, and hopefully you get some vestige of truth in there somewhere. In an effort to best represent our membership as an entirety, we took some steps because obviously we understand the criminal defense members of our bar have a very vested interest in whether or not a public defender's office exists. There's upwards of 70 attorneys who take court appointments in this county. That's anything from felony cases, juvenile delinquency, child support contempt, appellate cases, municipal cases, abuse, neglect, and dependency cases for children's services. There's a wide breadth of attorneys that are covered through our court-appointed process here in Lorain County, and them having an individual vested interest is not surprising. That I think one of their initial reactions is absolutely not to a public defender's office. It affects their livelihood directly. So we wanted to get the membership's opinion in large. What we did in an effort to do that, understanding first as attorneys, we understand we have very limited information to work off of. So anything that I tell you here from an association standpoint, please understand this is just a preliminary look at this, and everyone across the board that I talked to from our membership said we really need more information before we can make any real determination on this issue. But the first issue we want to address in this brief time would be cost. And I understand over the last 12 months we've spent as a county approximately $3.6 million for court-appointed counsel. Understanding that we do get these reimbursements, the county, from our understanding, was reimbursed more than $3 million of that money, meaning that the county taxpayers spent about $600,000 for the defense of all those areas in the court as defendants. By comparison, prosecutor's office for Lorain County alone, not counting the municipal courts that are run on their own budgets, had a budget in 25, I believe, about $6.25 million, and in 24 about $5.6 million, respectively. It's a large office. It covers quite a bit for the court. So I understand that. I'm not making any statements against their budget. Just by comparison, the public defense that the taxpayers have allocated for even more individuals than the county alone is a fraction of that cost. And as a whole, we polled our membership as a whole, as well as holding a meeting for comments, and that was one of the first issues that they addressed. We think from a cost standpoint, we're providing the taxpayers of Lorain County a very good service for a minimal cost by comparison to a counterpart, the easiest comparison being a prosecutor's office. And the second point really from our membership, and I'm here to address, is the level of representation that these attorneys provide to the citizens and defendants of Lorain County. These individuals are well trained. They're required to have specific training under the Ohio Revised Code from the Public Defender's Office. They have required training courses and hours. They have to have a certain number of trials and trial experience to take different levels of cases. So the defendants themselves are getting absolute top-tier representation. And one judge who attended our meeting even indicated he liked the idea that he has some bit of oversight in the fact that when he knows he has a specifically complicated case, he has some discretion which attorney he's going to apply to that case. He's not just grabbing whomever's in this office here to put them in that place. And so we believe as an association not only that the cost is something that we provided a value to the taxpayers, but also the representation that's being received is of the highest quality, and bringing in a public defender's office was certainly a conversation that we would love to be a part of and asked to be a part of and included in the future as we go forward gathering more information. We believe at the time we were providing absolute top-notch representation to those defendants as the Constitution requires. So I thank you, gentlemen, for your time today, and look forward to speaking with you in the future regarding this issue.
Well, and we count this as the initial, the start of the conversation, but not the end.
Absolutely. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you. Mr. Simonoff? Good afternoon.
I don't want to reiterate everything that Brandon said. My name is Zach Simonoff. I live in Amherst at 1072. Oh, no?
You don't have to do that. You don't have
Thank
to.
you. Okay. And I didn't know you said say the address. I'm an attorney in this county. I've been practicing criminal law for 26 years under the appointed system, private system. Without having to reiterate everything that Brandon said about the about the Bar Association, I have had the privilege and pleasure of being chair of the criminal law section of this of the Lorain County Bar. And I would point out that in every 10 years or so, the issue of a public defender's office has raised its head. And while I'm not particularly against it, I'm kind of agnostic. I think that the issue with regard to cost effectiveness has always turned out to be in the favor of what we're doing. And I think that maybe you should know a little bit more about what we're doing here. First, when I started, judges there was a lot more, I don't want to say discretion, there was much more looseness with how cases were appointed. Since then, the rules of 120-1-10, which is the Ohio Administrative Code on how to appoint counsel is being followed. There is a rotating list of qualified counsels. Every attorney that is on the list has to provide a binder for malpractice insurance that protects not only themselves but protects the county. They're also required to do a minimum of 12 hours of education in criminal law, or if they're doing juvenile in juvenile law, and there's an intersection between the both. And if you take appointments for OVI, you have to do 6 hours of that. If you do appeals, you have to take specific 6 hours. And I have the privilege of saying that for at least the last 10 years, the Lorain Bar Association has put on those courses to meet those requirements, and we have an active criminal bar that prides themselves on not only teaching at those classes, but taking those classes, getting the certifications, and providing the representation here. Also, the billing system, we're required to go submit bills within 30 days of the close of the close of the case, and so there's a timeliness in us providing these cases. And so people, when they come here, they're getting a top-notch, to quote Brandon, defense experience when they're here. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like appointed counsel, I want to hire private counsel. Everybody here says, I also take private cases. The people here that are representing people in a public capacity also are taking private cases, and so you know that if you're assigned some of the attorneys, you're getting some of the top attorneys in this county as your assigned counsel, free of charge to meet the requirements of Gideon versus Wainwright. So we'd ask, when you're looking at the public defender's office, we're not saying don't do it, because there's going to be appointed counsel anyway. We want to say look at it and look at the costs. I think they're around the edges. The way we're doing it makes a lot of sense. The people here take pride in, and we can maybe increase some of the efficiencies, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And also understand the municipal courts in this county, which obviously there's a lot of moving parts. There are 6 felony general division courts here. There are 3 juvenile courts, which means you're going to have 3 public defenders for delinquency cases, but you're also going to have the dependency, neglect, and abuse cases there. So you're going to have essentially 12 courtrooms being covered at any one time there. With the caseload requirements, that would require close to 20 attorneys just to cover the felonies. Then in Elyria and Lorain, those are the biggest of the municipal courts. There are 5 prosecutors in each of those courts, because they each have 2 full-time courtrooms going. And then you have Avon Lake, Oberlin, and Vermillion, which Avon Lake and Oberlin are full-time courts, but their prosecutors are part-time. So, and you're going to have to go cover all of that, because when felonies come in, you need to follow them. Almost every felony in this county comes through a municipal court. So where are you going to make contact with the people? It's going to be there. So you're going to need public defenders there to go follow the felony cases up. So you're looking at a fairly large office, and if you're funding it and staffing it comparatively with the prosecutor's office, you're probably figuring about 60% of what you're funding it on the prosecutor's office if it's a full-time public defender's office. So, and then you're still going to have appointed counsel. Anyway, I'm sorry I went way over my time.
Well,
Thank you. Okay.
That's okay, but I just want to reiterate that
Yeah.
most of what we heard just now sounds like excellent conversation for those meetings with the Bar Association, and I appreciate that you're the head of the criminal division, so you certainly should have a seat in that conversation. Okay, so right now, this is not a,
Okay.
an offense or defense type of situation yet. So,
Thank you very much. Okay.
thank you.
I think yet's the key word. I have some questions for you guys. And just for the record, it was, from what I got from KC, it was $3.8 million, and we got reimbursed $3 million. And with the budget shortage that we're having right now, with the request of over 16 million more than what we're receiving and what we approved in July, is what got the ball rolling. I looked at this in 2002 when I was the commissioner back then. And my concerns back then in the early, in that part was a lot of public defenders were more activists in other states. And I thought that's why I kind of stopped it. I thought I don't need to create a government entity that could be more of an activist based. And then I was told recently that that is not the case in Ohio. And so that's kind of what got me going. A lot of my concerns is we have 72 attorneys that received the 3.8 million and only 12 received 43% of that money. That also started to get me to start digging some more. Other questions I might have is when you guys receive your bills, do they tell you how? Like I'm hearing things such as motion for extraordinary fees. I'm hearing all these words. Do you guys have access to that, or is that something we have to dig in here at our level? Or maybe my budget director has to talk to the judges to get that information on if those motions were filed so that they could get extraordinary fees? Or do you guys know that?
Sure, I'm happy to address it.
Yeah.
And so what we require for reimbursement
Yeah.
is that the county follow the county fee schedule. And so if your county fee schedule allows for courts to have the discretion for extraordinary fees, which are certainly from the state public defender's perspective, there are times and places
Right.
when those are necessary. And so, yes, there's a box that can be checked, appreciating that all of these bills from Lorain County right now are in paper form. And so, yes, we have the ability to pull those bills and we can report out, but it's in paper form. So it's quite an
So it
endeavor.
might take you an hour.
Yeah, it's quite an endeavor. But yes, the technical answer is yes, we do have that information. The county may have more ready access to it, whether through the court or through the auditor, I'm not sure.
Okay, I have more questions, but I see one of the speakers, or want to wait?
Well,
Or want me to continue, or?
if you've got questions for those particular speakers, because those are parties to our
Right.
conversation on the subject.
Okay.
We have one more citizen that would like to speak,
Okay.
but he's back in the room now, but
I saw
let's
that.
keep this conversation and try to complete it then.
I saw Attorney Siminoff mentioned a number which I didn't know until I saw the letter in the paper, that there's a cap on the number of cases each attorney in a public defender's office can have.
Yes, that's in, I believe, Administrative Code 121.7, and that's true for both appointed counsel and for public defenders. For purposes of reimbursement, to qualify for reimbursement, counties, whether it's for a public defender or appointed counsel, the code says if those are full-time attorneys engaging in that work full-time, that they should adhere to the caseload caps. And for instance, the caseload cap for felonies is 150 felonies. So that
That's
is
for
present in the
felonies?
code. That's true. Yes.
So let me ask you this, as county commissioners, do we have the ability to change that, or is that a judicial decision? Or is it a statute from the state that makes that decision?
Yes, sir. So revised code 120.03 gives the State Public Defender Commission, the 9-member body at the state, the statutory authority to create those rules in the Administrative Code, Chapter 120, for purposes of counties qualifying for reimbursement. Does that answer your question?
Anything further?
Nope. Well, no, now that we
Commissioner?
now that we settled that we can communicate one-on-one, I felt, okay,
Right.
so.
We're happy to provide data
Yeah.
or to be public
Okay.
or present at any public meeting to try and engage in
I
discussion.
have something for you.
Oh, yes, sir.
On your graph, I saw a field that had quite a few cases that was miscellaneous. What are some examples of miscellaneous in those billings?
Sure. So again, I'd be happy to follow up with Amy or another admin at the commissioner's office, but those are for purposes of that specific report, and what are usually in there are contempt or other categories of cases that don't fall cleanly under felony, misdemeanor, traffic cases, and the like. And so it's kind of a conglomerate, if you will, but mainly contempts.
Okay. The qualifications for the lawyers, the ones that work in the public defender versus the private practice coming in to defend the public, are they the same, or is there a difference between the two of what their qualifications are?
Yeah, great question, Commissioner. So Administrative Code, again, all for purposes of reimbursement, Administrative Code 120-1-10 prescribes qualifications for appointed counsel. At the end of that section, it talks about attorneys who are engaged in the full-time practice in a public defender office are exempt from those qualifications. The rationale behind that rule is if an attorney is part of a public defender office, they are receiving supervision and oversight and mentoring such that they are not required to meet those specific qualifications. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Now, assuming there's a major crime that happens and it's a felony case, and let's say it was a murder, and let's say you have a public defender's office and some of those are new people out of law school. Is there any oversight to make sure that the qualification would meet the case specifically, if it's something that is complicated or major or high profile type thing? Or would you bring in outside counsel for that?
Yeah, so I think that on an initial matter, as attorneys, that we are committed to, under the rules of professional conduct, to not engaging in the practice of law where we don't have sufficient qualifications or experience to competently represent a client. So I'd say that at the outset. Beyond that, if there were a case in which, let's say, Buckeye County had a public defender office, and for whatever reason, they had two really experienced attorneys and perhaps two members of the office that were new to the admission of the bar, new to the practice, and the two more experienced lawyers just didn't have caseload capacity, yeah, I think the public defender office would approach the court if they were appointed to the case and say, hey, look, we don't have the capacity presently. We're going to have to appoint that out. Or conversely, they may work that situation out within the office to make sure that the more experienced lawyers were appointed to the case and perhaps mentoring the newer lawyers. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah. Last question. I got one more.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Is there opportunity for private practice lawyers to also be part of the public defender's office in cases?
Sure. So at the state public defender office, our attorneys by code are not permitted to practice law outside of our work. That is not true for the county public defender office under Revised Code Chapter 120. And so I think that's a local decision, whether if they were to, a county were to form a public defender office, whether they would permit attorneys to only engage in the practice part-time, but that is technically an option under the law, if that's helpful.
Thank you.
Very good.
Let me, if you don't mind following up, let's say it's a capital case, like as Commissioner Gallagher said, wouldn't that be at the discretion of the judge to see that maybe there isn't enough experience in the public defender's office, and since they're well aware of those that can handle something as a capital case, would that be up the discretion of the judge at that point?
I would note that for capital cases, the Supreme Court of Ohio requires that you be qualified under their terms,
Right.
and that you have to be on a list, whether to be lead counsel or co-counsel. And so only attorneys that are present on those lists would a court appoint. But yes, I believe the court would have discretion whether to use appointed counsel or a public defender to
Okay,
appoint.
that's what I think, yeah.
I have one more. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I
sir.
just thought of this, and I promise you I won't keep going. So the billing rate for an attorney in the private practice is typically higher than, I would think, the public defender's office. Is that not correct? Or is there a different billing rate? If they were, what the public defender is billing the state, is it lower than a typical practice billing rate, is what I mean?
So if the question is the rate that appointed counsel are billing at $75 an hour, is that lower than private practitioners? I don't engage in the private practice of law, but I imagine that that is probably well below what most people charge in the private practice of law. If the question is about basically how does it figure to the cost of a public defender office and what their hourly rate would be if they were charging hourly versus appointed counsel, I think it's a matter of math and what's the salary of a public defender and how many cases are they being appointed to.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Again, I want to remind everybody that the overview for this is that it's $3.8 million at this point. The reimbursement rate is 82%, but as our colleagues have pointed out, that rate is established by the General Assembly. In some years, they devote more money to this than other years. So it's, we're trying to take a look at this because as fiduciary, we have to be concerned about the 18% and also what about the years where that reimbursement rate might be 25 or 30% local money. And it is bringing a lot of light to the subject, what Commissioner Moore is starting, because if you do the math at $75 or $100 an hour at 3.8 million, there's a lot of hours there. So I think it gives us a scale of what the issue is. So I see you've returned. Aiden Fogel, did you want to speak to this item as well?
Been a while.
Yes, it has.
So I'm gonna have to go off my phone. I left my glasses in my truck, so you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. So my name is Aidan Fogel, Sheffield Lake. I strongly support Dave Moore's plan to create a Lorain County Public Defender's Office. Right now, our poorest residents, the ones who most need a strong defense, are stuck with an inconsistent patchwork of court-appointed lawyers. Many of them work hard, but without the oversight, training, and resources of a public defender's office, justice becomes a coin flip. Attorney Zach Simonoff is right. There's a reason there's a limit on how many cases a public defender can take. If you pile too many cases on one lawyer, people stop being clients and start being numbers. But here's the problem. Those limits don't always apply to court-appointed attorneys. Some are drowning in cases, and that means corners get cut, trials get delayed, and innocent people can get lost in the system. A dedicated public defender's office fixes that. It means accountability, it means consistency, and it means every defendant, rich or poor, gets a real defense, not a rushed meeting in a hallway before court. This is about fairness, but it's also about dollars and cents. Overloaded defense lawyers lead to longer cases, overcrowded jails, and higher costs for taxpayers. Commissioner Moore's plan isn't just good policy, it's common sense. Let's make Lorain County a place where justice isn't for sale and everyone gets a fair shot in court. And I would say, even if this costs the county more money, it's still a good plan. You can't put a price on justice, so.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Aidan.
likewise, Aidan, we're at the very beginning of this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kind of a little emotional that he agreed with me. Aidan and I have not been on the same page a few times.
Okay.
Well, I know everybody came in for this. I mean, the rest of the meeting's gonna be pretty boring, so I don't know if they want to leave and not worry about interrupting our meeting. What do you think? That okay? I mean, a lot of attorneys in here getting billable hours elsewhere. They need to leave.
I see one of our favorite judges back there.
Yeah.
Hello, my favorite commissioners.
Oh, yeah. There's only 3 of us.
Thank you for cutting off my husband.
Oh, hey.
It's been so
Thank you
glorious
all
to
for
have all
coming.
these
Yeah, that wasn't
lawyers
in
the room.
judge tone. That was in wife. I knew that was wife talk. That was like,
Thanks again.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
If you need anything, I'm always available to answer questions from a judicial point of view.
Okay.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Appreciate it.
You know you'll get an honest answer from me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That completes the public comment on the agenda item.
Is there any old business?
Old business? Nope.
No? Okay. Board business, number 9, approve and waive the reading of the county commissioners meeting minutes of August 15th.
Move to approve.
Waive the reading?
Are you seconding
Yes.
it? Okay.
I was just
Any
putting in the
discussion?
waive part of it.
Well, thank you. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell,
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Sanitary engineer, authorize county sanitary engineer to prepare, sign, and submit funding applications to OPWC and execute any agreements as may be necessary for the projects as submitted for round 40. This is for Rolling Heights Allotment Sanitary Sewer Project Phase 1. Estimated project cost is $1.5 million. CDBG Program Year 25 Residential Public Infrastructure Grant is $750,000, and the OPWC loan request is $750,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Did
John, do you have anything that you want to add?
Hey, you skipped number 10. That's
I was
why
gonna
was-
say, Oh,
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, we're gonna have a motion and a second on number 11. That's why I wasn't looking at you, just kind
I
of
was
staring.
kind of like,
I'm like,
did I miss that?
yeah, no, I'm looking at her going, this is our discussion part. We're on the,
She really wants to get this meeting done. I'll go back to 10 after you vote on this one.
you wanna go every other one just to be done.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's right.
So right now we have a motion and a second on item number 11.
Correct, under sanitary engineer.
Okay.
Yes.
This is just the approval for you guys to allow us to submit for an OPWC application for funding in conjunction with the application that Don's office has done.
Do we already have the CBD grant?
Commissioner, we've been invited for through a pre-application process, and just about an hour and a half ago, the full application was submitted at invitation, but we haven't received a grant agreement just yet.
Okay.
Anything further on number 11?
No.
Under state of Terry. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Okay, number 10, approve an amendment number 1 to service agreements with Maximus Professional Consulting Services Painesville for various county agencies to perform cost allocation plans for Commissioner's Dog Kennel Cook Building, and this amendment is to reflect the extension of the terms until March 31st of 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 12, Stormwater Management District. Proposed Lorain County Stormwater Management Drainage District improvement to be constructed within the Drainage District for Mason Lateral Number 1 and Mason Main Project in LaGrange Township. Hearing will be held on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025, which is 43 days at 4:30 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Children's Services, 13, authorize and rescind various personnel in Children's Services Department to utilize the agency's MasterCard for the year 2025, not to exceed $2,500 in accordance with the ORC and their permissible policy.
So
Move to
moved.
second.
Discussion.
Discussion, Mr. Armbruster, we have a credit card policy in place now,
We still
correct?
have to do this, though.
Okay, does this still require us to deal with the people that come on and off the credit card?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. I was just checking because we have a new policy, but it looks like the same old process.
Well, it is tame. It's
For
changed.
Children's Services.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
Kathy Paralysis.
She's nodding her head yes.
okay.
Anything further? Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Under the prosecutor, 14, Board of Commissioners, Lorain County, Ohio, retain the law firm of Myers, Roman, Frederberg, and Lewis LLP to serve as legal counsel for Lorain County Human Resources Director Elise Harrell pursuant to Revised Code 305.14 in Lorain County Court of Common Pleas Case 25 CV 217307.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
County Administrators.
We have two items. Number one, to speak to the 6119, which is the east side of Lorain County, and that is to cover that east side, is the capacity of what we have out there in the fourplex and the pipes coming in. There's plenty of room for growth. It's not like we're going to have to put another complete line in for 17 miles as it goes to Avon Lake. So the capacity is there for the growth that you're seeing in homes. As well, it's open, and we've always, for the last 2 years, said it's open to the communities that are there, and that would be Grafton and Brentwood, which is across the way, and I know Brentwood is covered by, maybe is in Illyria's FPA, and but it's covered by the county's system that handles all of that waste over there now. So it is open and ready for service as Lorco chooses to grow, or as the townships choose to grow, not whether the 6119 chooses to grow. So we're not in, again, reiterating, we're not in the home supply of, we're not running those sewers to the homes. It is only the transmission and the treatment of waste. And it is a separate board, not controlled by the county in any way whatsoever. That board is independent of the county, Avon Lake, and Larco, run by a board and an executive director. Secondly, there was a question 2 weeks ago, and I think it was 2 weeks ago, with regards to the towers, the beacons on the towers that have been put up both at French Creek and at Northern Ohio, and also, at the fairgrounds. And there's a notice to the airmen that is out there. They call it NOTAM, and Middle Ridge and French Creek are both on there. One is through 10/16 of 25, and the other one is through 10 of 12 of 25. And then Karen has brought up the entire list of these NOTAMs, and there's a multitude of sites across the state of Ohio that are actually on these notice to airmen. This is something that if there's a flight going out, they should be looking at this. They should know where these towers are, because sometimes towers are put up, such as ours, and there's no power and nothing. So they actually post this for anybody that is flying visually out there for those towers. And our consultants, MCM and Motorola, have both confirmed this, that they are certainly registered and they're certainly within the limits of the law. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be disagreements, but this is how it's worked in the state of Ohio.
This is the Federal Aviation Administration. So they have a website you can go to. You can look at any of the NOTAMs in your area, close to you. And I mean, I pulled up a whole stinking lot of them. It looks like, as close as I can see, there's 3 LPR NOTAMs for obstacle tower lighting. So I'm going to say that's Wellington, French Creek, and Northern Ohio Rural Water.
Okay, but, so you take it that a light is not required, they accomplish the safety through a different mechanism?
It's a temporary notice until the beacon is installed and operational.
Okay,
As a pilot, you get your notifications when all that stuff happens, and
okay.
it's very
Just like
expensive.
Just like the weather, you get that notification it's going to rain.
But
The same
again, to
thing
the
happens
question
here.
that, from a couple weeks ago, will there eventually be beacons on these towers?
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
There will be, and these are open until 10/16 and 10/12. And if they're not done, they're going to have to reapply to the NOTAM. I don't know exactly how that works, but
so
I'm
by
sure
the time
that
we become operational, that will be part of
Yes.
being operational?
Yes, sir.
the
Very
lights
good.
will be on the tower.
Pretty confident the tower company knows.
Yeah,
I could
not
understand
their
that
first
some
rodeo,
residents
is
may
it?
be concerned about a plane, a plane hitting a tower
drone.
and landing in the wrong yard,
I think they're more worried about drones nowadays.
but yes. Thank you. Anything else?
I would like to add just quickly to thank our staff that participated and signed up for shifts to work the fair last week. But I did want to recognize Miss Amy and Miss Ann and also Miss Chris, who spent quite a bit of time out at the fair and made sure that we all did our jobs the correct way. So,
Gave out a lot of yardsticks, magnets, and coasters.
right, and I mean, lots of magnets, especially Ann. She was like the magnet queen out there. So, but I mean, I think that concludes our report. We had a lot of fun at the fair, though.
Very good.
Nice work.
The only thing I have is Thursday at 8 a.m. will be our Visitors Bureau meeting. For correspondence.
Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Is there new business?
Yeah, I was to talk about the fair a little bit more. It was nice to be out there this week. We had a great week. The new expo was set up, and we all got to walk around and see the efforts. And everybody was extremely appreciative of the work that this county's done, your team has done, in assisting them with all the work that they had to have. It was expensive for me this year, but I did buy a goat for the first time, so we'll see what that's like. But the main thing what people were worried about and came up to us about was taxes. And, that's what we heard. That's what a lot of the other elected officials heard. And so it's been, this is my segue, because we just got back about an hour and a half ago from Hocking Hills, in which all three of us were attending the County Commissioners Association of Ohio. And that's been that was an extremely heated discussion when some of the state reps were there discussing the potential petition that will probably be on the ballot next year. So I would have to say, as someone who really doesn't go to those, it was probably one of the better meetings I've ever been to. So I'm glad my two colleagues twisted my arm, because I think that's the first one I went to. I went to one in December of 2001, and that was it. I never went again after that, but I am a member. And then this time, I think I talked to the leadership there, and I said, these two convinced me to come, and you know what? It was well worth the trip. I think we got a lot of benefits for this county, and I thought it was a very educational seminars that we received, and the networking, talking on what works for them, may not work for us, but it was really, you know, we're talking to people from Franklin County whose general fund is 900 million, and then we're talking to other people whose general fund is probably under 5. So, and you couldn't tell who's who, no political party stuff. It was really a very good moment where we all shared what we knew, what they knew, and I'd like to thank you guys for twisting my arm. It was worth the trip, so.
Well, Jeff twisted mine in December.
But the one of the interesting, you know, there's a lot of figures that fly around, but we understand the challenge that we have with getting our budget in line for 2026 in the next several months, and we were appreciative because we had a colleague down there that doesn't have a $16 million problem to solve. They have a $60 million problem to solve. So,
Also, Mr. Armbruster came down as well, which was awesome.
Yeah.
He got to see firsthand what everybody's going through, and and a lot of the other counties will specify issues they're having, which we can relate to in many areas. So it's really, really informative.
Well, not only that is, you know, Mr. Armbruster has, you know, years of service, and when he was in the Senate, so I think he was probably more popular than the three of us. So.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just thought I'd bring that up. So.
Clearly well known.
Yeah.
okay.
We do have public comment though, I guess. So.
Thank you for the new business. We have public comment in general. Michael Collins.
Afternoon, Mike.
Afternoon. Thank you very much. I'm Michael Collins. I'm no longer in Lorain County. I'm in Westlake, 292 Hilliard, but still spend a lot of time over here. I got started on what's in front of you, and I apologize to everybody else. This is something that's been in the works. Some of you know about it for over a year. I've been trying to get a course added over at Lorain County Community College, if you will, a workshop. It was actually a 3-part coursework and an optical engineering coursework, and it's about semiconductor fabrication, but it's the next generation of semiconductors using integrated silicon photonics. And the professor that got the grant from Intel to do it is going to be coming up here to Lorain County and doing it through Lorain County Community College. What I handed out, and I hope that's sufficient. I gave you 4 copies. I got 1 more if anybody needs it. But if you look at what's going on in semiconductors, Moore's Law is dead. I mean, even if we get the next level of performance at the 2 nanometer level, we can't, what's beyond that? How much finer are you going to be able to go? So the next step is actually to make it faster, which means replacing electrons with photons. And they're already going from gigahertz to terahertz in that transition. They've been doing this for 10 years. Pat Gelsinger, before he left Intel, said every semiconductor after 2028 will integrate silicon photonics. So this puts us on a path. Now we're trying to look at the workforce development to start integrating that. And this is in the flyer that Lorain County Community College has put out. And I've been working with Tracy and all of the people over there. This is to inform you that this is what's going on. Secondarily, and you do not have this, I apologize, I just got it this afternoon. I'm also working with Midview to try and get an optical engineering class into the middle school and high school. And we're already on the agenda to get that done. I can't give you a date, but we've got a laboratory set up. It was originally designed for homeschooling, and my comment was, if you can do homeschooling, you can do high school. So I've sat with Dr. Majors and the people out at Midview, and we're on track to get that. Okay? That's all. Any questions?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
I think we met about 2 years ago at a restaurant, and
It feels like
maybe 3.
forever.
Yeah, and okay, you know, you guys will make fun of me, but I went to college for marketing. Okay, so everyone jokes about we majored in beer. Okay, but the bottom line here is when you explained this to me, I was sold immediately, because the concept isn't about, it is about the college participating in this, but when you start talking about the future of our county,
Yes.
by providing education not only in the high school level,
Yes.
but the junior high level,
Yes.
and then at 5th and 6th grade,
And then up into Case Western too. We want to make
Right.
it a continuum.
and that's what I've been using when we're talking to companies in Vegas, when we're out talking around, that not too many people are doing this. And this
Nobody's
is a
doing it.
private citizen who's not getting paid, who's doing this out of public service, and who's in this world and understands this world.
Can't
'Cause
live it.
I can't, you know, once you said silicone photo, I'm out, okay? Because I'm like, this is not my world, okay?
Well,
But
let
what
me
you
add-
talk about is what's really going on
Yes.
in our world, and you're bringing it here to Lorain County, and I just wanted to publicly thank you. Because I know you've been doing this for a couple of
Too long.
years, yeah.
Too long. If I'd have known how to do it, I probably would have shortcut it, but
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing
No, but this
when
is-
it comes to that.
But the concept of teaching our children at an early age, and they're coming out of college or they're coming out of high school with a certificate, and they don't need a degree to make big money anymore.
Well-
What'd you say, like 1 year, they're out making, you know,
I don't know what they make. The
yeah.
clean room environment over at Lorain County Community College blows everybody's mind when I take them through there.
Yeah.
So it's a remarkable capability, and to the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen it replicated anywhere else. Let me add a couple more things to this. I said when you go after the mega project, and at the time it was semiconductors, with the feds buying into Intel, who knows what that means now? But semiconductors is a part of the future. When you go after a mega project in semiconductors, don't drive through the rearview mirror where semiconductors have been. Drive through the front windshield. This is where it's going. And this is the first step on the road to quantum computing. So when you go to quantum, you're doing it in optics, okay? So this puts us on a path. We've got a long way to go. Thank you.
And thank you, and we need to remember not to confuse what's going on with Intel and the government taking a share in it, because for the first time, they gave money away and said, but if you don't use it, we want it back. And so they've taken their share, because with the corporate problems at Intel, there may be a buyer on the horizon, and I think the government is just stepping in to make sure their investment is protected.
I understand that. My comment is,
But that
no
has
matter
nothing
what
to do
you
with the
do,
fact that the-
semiconductors is the future.
Right, but the industry's still going there. You know, Intel's problems are Intel problems, not industry problems.
Right. Thank you.
thanks, Mike.
One other real quick thing. 2 nanometers, just so people out there can relate to what it is, it would be 2 1,000ths of a millimeter. Just so you know that. It's that small, and you were talking about 2 nanometers in relationship to the light. So,
Well, visible light is 400 nanometers
Right.
to 800 nanometers. So you're below the wavelengths of visible light.
yep.
Thank you. Physics is done for today,
Yeah.
and I think so are we. We've got a lot of work to do to implement what we learned in the last 48 hours, and
Good
we,
stuff, yeah,
I move the meeting be adjourned.
all right.